Alright, this is a how-to and video install. I'm going to try to keep this short as possible. But here's the contents of the Tow Pro Elite. The only other thing that you will have to purchase is an adapter for your truck. Today we're installing on a 2004 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. This was already in my truck in the glove box, so I'm using this. And it comes with directions on how to hook all that up. And I'll go through all that right now. Okay, so here we are on the driver's side, on the floorboard, looking up. Right next to your emergency brake here, this little black box. You want to unscrew this plastic nut and pull this cover off. It's a little tricky, so you have to wiggle it. It's not connected back there. You just have to fidget with it and it'll come off. Then you uncover that. So now, if I didn't mention before, I had to buy this connector. Mine came with a 40 amp fuse. So if yours does not, make sure you pick that up. The next step on the instructions here, if you see it inside of your cover, there's a diagram. The one that says trailer, that's the one you want to hook your cable up to. So I'll go up here to the second one. Plug it in. Bam. Done. I'm gonna run our wire down here with this one. And we're gonna put our cover back on. Alright, so here we are. Now I've got that hooked up, I decided to make my location of where I actually want that brake controller to be. And I don't have none of those delete pop-out things I can just drill it into. All my dash stuff is taken up. I don't want it down here. So I'm not a smoker, so I want to put it right there. Perfect spot, reach it, access it. And who needs a cigarette lighter? Not me. So to remove this panel, all you do is simply pull up, and it slides right out. I've already taken this apart. There's no screws or anything, it just pulls out. On the back, you're gonna have your cigarette lighter, which is gonna be that plug-in. Simply unplug it. And same over here. Then it's removed. Alright, so now we're back here on the tailgate again. I brought the interior trim piece out. And this cigarette lighter just pops out. There's a few clips back there. You just push them in. Pops right out. Done. So, got this big hole right here. The Tow Pro Elite will not cover that alone. So, I had also purchased this nice little bezel here. Now it doesn't fit perfect, but it fits close enough to where it's gonna look pretty good. So I'll put that in its place. Alright, so this is what it looks like when I have it installed. Like I said, it wasn't a perfect fit, so I used this Liquid Nails Perfect Glue. Caked it on there. Put it on the back. Of course, you want this as strong as possible, because that's going to be what, when you're hitting that switch, all that weight's going to be on that, so you want that to be secure. Alright, still back here at the tailgate. Now I'm going to take the Tow Pro Elite and the wiring harness provided, and I'm going to connect it together. Alright, so another note I want to add here. Here are my wiring harness connected. And here's my Ethernet cord that goes to the Tow Pro Elite and then the controller. Now this box, you can mount it any way you want. Up, down, upside down. It's going to function any way you mount it. But you want to make sure it's a solid mount. There's going to be no wiggling. You don't want to zip tie this thing. You want to do it properly. So, with that in mind, you got to put this box within range of this Ethernet cord. So I'm going to have to probably know where to mount it in there. Now I'm going to try to use some factory screws to mount it. So I am going to be looking up under here for a spot. Alright, so we're back. I have the Tow Pro Elite screwed up there. Now, another thing to note is there's a straight end and there's a curved end. make sure your curb ring is up where your remote's gonna be. And that will just plug into the side of your Tow Pro. Okay, so here we are at the back of the truck again. As you can see, I kind of have my Tow Pro partially installed here, the remote portion. But in my case, I'm using this bezel here. So I do not use that little O-ring or spacer, whatever you want to call it. These are the steps I will follow. Measure your hole, cut your hole. I skipped all that. I'm using an existing hole. But as you can see, step 1 is your remote, 2 is your bezel, 3 is your metal washer, and 4 you put the knob on. You totally skipped that rubber gasket. Now, if you're just drilling a regular hole, this is how it goes. Remote, whatever you drilled the hole into, your plastic rubber washer, nut, and cap. So all I did, stick the remote in the back there, popped out this hole here, make sure your LED lines up with that hole, put your metal nut on, torque it down to, I think it says 0.8 newtons, I'm guessing what that means, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, then you just take your cap, pop it on, which I'm going to assemble it off camera because it's hard to assemble stuff while holding a phone. Alright, so we're back here in the cab. Part of my mess I have going on here, but here's my Ethernet cord. Here's my bezel. So I'll lay that down in here. Connect my Ethernet. And then put it back together. Alright, once you have it connected, don't forget to connect your 12-volt power up. Then you push the bezel back in by tucking this top part up under first, and then pushing back and clicking it in. Alright, so I just got done wiring and connecting all the wires together. So if you bought this, you probably already know that, what the hell's their name? RedArc is an Australian company. So their power, their like main power color is black. This is their wiring diagram here. That black wire going to the battery. So watch out for that. But as far as the wiring goes, it'll all be different for every person, because depending on the harness that you get that goes to the truck that'll connect to your Tow Pro, it'll be different. Like here's my instructions here. If you're wondering how I did it, hopefully it'll zoom in and clear for you guys. But these are the wires from my harness that go to the truck, and then you just connect them accordingly to the Tow Pro. Simple as that. I mean, this right here, I'm very disappointed I had to tape these up. I thought I had my electrical connectors with me here, but I don't, and I have to use this trailer brake to get home, so this will do until I get to the house. Oh, another tip too is disconnect your end that goes up into that box, or you'll have power and you don't want any wires to spark or anything. Alright, after you get it connected, go ahead and plug it back in. So the final step under here is to take your wires and zip tie them up out of the way. Make sure they're not going to interfere with your gas pedal or your brake. Zip tie them up good in there, make sure they're not going to fall out. Should be good to go. Alright, so now we're underneath the hood. You want it towards the battery. In the box, just pull up their cover here. Simple. Again, there's another diagram. Let's see if I can set this down. So now, my directions say to put this 40 amp fuse that was included into stud number 1. So I'm gonna find stud number 1. There should be like a plug here. Yeah, and there's a blank plug here. See if I can pull it out with my fingers. Might have to get some pliers. Let's grab some pliers. Alright, so we've gotten this plug out. I can see just an empty plug. Nothing about it. Goes in that slot right there. So I'm gonna take my 40 amp. So put her on in. So we have it in. Just gonna replace the battery box, the fuse cover. Discard this. Close her up.